Chapter 2. When Arthur got back to the classroom, his friend rushed to high-five. "You survived," said Buster, with no obvious signs of torture. Pinky added. He looked a little disappointed. "What happened?" asked Francine. Arthur let out a sigh. "Mr. Henny gave me this." He held up a large brown envelope. "She said it was for my mom." "That's it?" asked Muffy. We reached out for a class book. "What does he say?" "It's sealed." Francine grabbed the envelope. "It's sealed, all right." She held it up to the light, and too thick to read through. "Give it a shake," said Buster. Cocking his ears. Francine shook the envelope for a moment. It looked softly. "That does tell us much," she said. Pinky folded his arm. "Let's just open it." "I can't," said Arthur. "It's added to my mother, and look what's stamped on it. Private and confidentially." "That's bad sign," said Buster. "Good news is never private." "Besides," said Pinky, "you can't start making excuses until you know what kind of trouble you're in." "Did Mr. Hennis give you any clues at all?" Francine asked. "He said it was important," said Arthur, tucking back the envelope. "That was about it." "It was good news," said Muffy. "Mr. Henry wouldn't have told you. My mother always tells me right away if we got it a new limousine or if the cook is making a special dessert for dinner." "He didn't say anything like that," Arthur admitted. That means it's bad news," said Francine. "The question is, how bad is it?" This was no question Arthur wanted to think about. Pinky roared. "Oh, I'll bet you lost a library book." "I don't think Mr. Henny gave him bothered with the library book," said Arthur. "Besides, I just returned all mine." "Oh no," said Francine. "What?" said Muffy. "Tell us," said Buster. "Tell me," said Arthur. "Never mind," said Francine. "It's too terrible to think about." Arthur turned pale. "That's why you'll have to tell me." "All right," said Francine. But you'll force me into it." She shuddered. "What if you did pass Mr. Rabbit's history test?" Arthur frowned. The big test had been the week before. It had been a whole one. "Remember, Arthur? You told me after the Pigland came to America in 620. Francine, the Pigland didn't come to America in 1620. She looked surprised. "Really?" Everyone else nodded. "Well, still," Francine tapped the envelope. "The proof is right here. And if you fail that test, you might fail the whole year. You know what that means, summer school?" Arthur sat down on his chair and thought about his fate. Summer school, perhaps the two most droll words in the English language. He saw himself chained to the wall of the dark dungeon Outside the barred window, he couldn't hear his friend playing. He looked out through the birds. Buster and the Brain were setting up a tent for camping. Muffy and Prunella were rollerblading. Arthur looked around his cell. He was alone with only some thick dust books for company. Then the guard, Mr. Rappen, working in, he was supplying ice cream from a cone. A few drops fell on the stones just beyond Arthur's reach. Snap out of it, Arthur, said Buster. Arthur looked at his friend Blinky. You know what they said, Buster went. One throw, why don't run their history or damn to repeat it Arthur signs, history or not, he felt damned for sure.